Hey everyone, it's your girl D Shields bringing you another episode of a Lyrics Breakdown. And this time we're following what's happening in the news. I want to take it all the way back before we talk Diddy and where Diddy is right now with all of the allegations that are going on with the arrest and with the not being allowed to be bonded out and sitting now on suicide watch waiting for a court date to try to get to what's going to happen next with these RICO charges. That is all current. But let's take it all the way back. I want to go all the way back music-wise because that's what we like to do here on Lyrics Breakdown. And I'm going through and I'm going, well, when did Diddy really hit the scene for us, right? Like when, of course, if you're in certain industries, you're like, oh, he hit the scene here, he hit the scene there. But I'm like, he really always kind of was there, but when is it like the timing of his hits, right? Because it's always in the music with these incidents, right? So what was the timing of when his one song that made it and he went over the top, right? And it takes you back to Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. I thought about back in the day, I think before we were doing Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, before we were doing all that, there was one of these platforms, not MySpace. It was more like a Beagle, like a distro. What do you call that? Discord kind of platform. And Diddy used to get on there all the time and he'd be sitting on there talking to the camera. You would see different people there, Fabulous, and all, the people that hang in his clique. And this is way after Biggie's no longer, alive. And he's in this nice Manhattan apartment. And one time he's just, going through, playing around. He had a closet full of, no, people, I'm not about to say a closet full of baby oil and lubricant. I would have said something back then. But on the video, he has a closet full of pillowcases with money. Like he used to just always have money on this. I can't remember. It wasn't Vine. I don't know what this platform was, but it was always celebrities on there. And we'd watch different celebrity videos. And this time it was one of Diddy that I was watching. And I would, he'd kind of get on there almost like every night. And I'd get on there and he would give his, kind of like people do on Instagram Live now, he would give his true self, he would give like, this is Diddy, this is Puffy or whatever. So he had a pillowcase full of money. That's what I remember. And, he should. He was a well-paid celebrity, so he had it like that. So he had a pillowcase full of money and he would just talk. But one time he tells us a kind of deep moment. And, I'm saying us because I'm the audience viewing way across the world, viewing the video, but he's talking to everyone watching his live at that time, right? And he says this ironic story about being this guy that grew up in New York and grew up in this, I may have the location wrong, but I think the high rise that he was in was Manhattan. And he goes out and he looks outside the window. And he talks about where he looks across at. When you looked out his window, he could look across. And people that know him or have heard him tell the story will tell you the same, right? That he could look across the way all over this nice side of town where he now lived as a celebrity. He could see across the way the very step where he used to look at the very building he was in now. He was a little broke boy who didn't have nothing, struggling, living a life of struggle. And, the story of what was happening with his dad and everything in the streets and the crime and everything that was going on around him. And he would sit on that little porch step and he would look across the way at that high rise and the high rises in the area and say, I'm going to live there one day. And he manifested the life that he had. Right? And we're going to show you, even in the lyrics, how he's always said what's going to happen. He's always said his story. He's always manifested his life. And I thought, that was always a big thing with Diddy, just always remembering him sharing that to the video and talking to the world and saying, I was this little boy that used to sit in an area just right across the way from all those rich people, where people that were in the struggle and in crime and being shot at, kids in danger. And he's just a little boy sitting on the porch, dreaming, looking across at the high rise saying, I'm going to live in that one day. And it was ironic that he's this adult telling all the viewers, telling us this story of how now, and I'm here in Manhattan, And I'm looking back across at the stoop that I used to sit on. And I'm now that millionaire that some little kid is sitting on the porch over there looking at, saying, I'm going to be there one day. Right? So just thought I'd share that story. Just some, way back when kind of moments that someone may have never heard that story. Right? And then, so let's go to again, I'm like, well, when did he come on the scene? So I thought September 13, 1996. So we all know that day, right? Most of you should know what happened on that day. So September 13th, 1996, and this person has been trying to say, they're trying to get me. They're trying to take me out. The last letter that he wrote, he has the names crossed out of the people that he's coming for. And, if you all know that famous Tupac letter that he wrote while he was locked up. And, these are the people that, they tried to kill me, he would say. And Puffy's name is in that letter written at the bottom, allegedly written by Tupac. And Puffy's name is written at the bottom. Okay, so fast forward, and then it's September 13, 1996. And we all know that Tupac dies on this day, right? So, and he had been shot. I forgot how long he was in the hospital. And then he dies September 13, 1996. January, let me make sure I have this right. So January, I'm sorry, you guys. Maybe January 3rd or something like that. I want to make sure I have the date right, but I may not have the date saved. So anyway, so January 3rd or so, after Tupac dies, January 3rd, so September 13th, 1996, Tupac dies. January 3rd or so, 1997, Puff's hit comes out, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. And that's the lyrics we're going to break down. Just listen to the lyrics. And he writes this hit with Mace, and he performs it with Mace, and says what he says, and we'll break down some of the things that he said, and I felt like he just said it right to our face, and people were just in shock. I'm also going to insert an opinion. Just because everyone's finding out about the lubricant and baby oil, most of the people that, we're viewers and fans of music. People that are in those close circles already know who's who. They know who's in closets and who's out closets because they're in circles that are closer and that are tighter than us. So they know the sexual preferences of people. We don't know these stories because the people have presented themselves as being a dude with multiple baby mamas. So we don't know that he has this other lifestyle going on. But clearly, Diddy's been bi from the beginning. Like, if you just take it all the way back when, he's been a comfortable bi. Maybe the industry didn't let him come out. Maybe there were, rules or, whatever as to why that's not going to fit your image. A lot of times there's imaging consultants and people that say, nah, we need you to be that bad boy that run through women and leave them single with babies. Or whatever they decided, because here he is, this bad boy with all these different baby mamas, right? So maybe that was a persona that he needed to put out. But people that were close to him, allegedly in Kim Porter's diaries that have been leaked, the book is coming out, but allegedly in these diaries that she supposedly handed over this thumb drive over to the person who's writing under a pseudonym, writing these Kim Porter diaries, she says about the threesomes that they enjoyed, as well as being a part of being in a relationship with a man that she says allegedly in this book that he was free. And she says from the very beginning, she loved that he was free and that he basically chose being with both genders, and he didn't have any he was very comfortable with being with both genders. And at a time in their relationship, she enjoyed what that brought for them in the bedroom. So we were the outsiders. Like, y'all trying to be in this, like, oh, Diddy, he was lubricating baby oil. The women that were with him knew, apparently, or allegedly, and Kim is writing about it in her diaries, allegedly, if these are her diaries. She writes comfortably about this being his lifestyle. So it's a shock to us to say that the man is bi, but he was comfortably bi. And I'll take you back to some moments in the lyrics, which we're now going to break down, that pretty much say that very thing, right? So, we go to the lyrics. Bad boy, we ain't gonna stop. Now it's Sean on the hot track. We're just gonna break down the lyrics, how I break them down. I don't play music because we don't have the rights to play those songs here on this platform. Now it's Sean on the hot track. Melt like it's hot wax. Put it out. All the stores. Bet you could shop that. Leave it in with a hot hat. Frontin' like bad boy. Ain't got tracks. And just stop that. There's no guy slicker than this young fly ninja. Gotta be careful. Nickel 9 ninja, you're doing hip hop. Floss, you die quicker. Did Fed time, out of town pie flipper, turn Cristal into a cricket eye slipper. Everybody want to be fast, see the cash. Again, he writes this song, co-writes it with Mace. F around, they weak staff get a heat rash. Anything in bad boy way we smash. 100 G stash, push a bulletproof E-class. I'm through with being a player and a baller. Just want me one bad B so I can spoil her. That's what Diddy says. And then Mace, he says, Mace want to be the one you respect even when you're vexed. Rock Versace silks over silk V-necks. They write this song together. Got green, never seen, so you suck my jewels. I'm going to take you to a part about Puff in a minute. Clutch my ooze. Anything I touch, I bruise. Y'all want me to revisit that? Okay, yes, so we'll just go back. Got green, never seen, so you suck my jewels. Clutch my ooze. Anything I touch, I bruise. All right. Rewind that for the church members asleep in the back. Rock Versace silks over silk V-necks. Got green, never seen, so you suck my jewels. Clutch my ooze. Anything I touch, I bruise. Let's go ask Pastor Mace what that might mean. Y'all just go ask Pastor Mace. Because I'm sure that had like a lot of content that they may have shared together as they were closely writing this song. Puff make his own law. Injure F your rules. So he, bad boy, for life. He's really always told us, right? So he's bad boy for life. He says, makes his own laws. F your rules. He was never going to live by the rules of anything that was laid out there, allegedly, through his lyrics. He dramatically said, bad boy for life didn't intend to ever be good. Unless I'm misunderstanding that, because he said bad boy for life. So it's been in our face the whole time. For us to be clueless, well, that's on us. We all thought we had a little street in us till we found that out, right? Good fellas, you can't touch us dudes. Don't push us cause we close to the edge. We try not to lose our heads. Like laughed in our face the whole time. Don't push us, he said, cause we close to the edge. We try not to lose our heads. We're going to keep this cool. Put on this persona. Get them baby mamas while we sucking on jewels and stuff. Okay, so anyway, that's my insert. That's my opinion. So then he says, broken glass everywhere. If it ain't about no money, this is Mason Puff Daddy. If it ain't about no money, Puff, I just don't care. He says, I'm that good fella, fly guy, sometime wise guy. Spend time. This Mace, in Hawaii. Mace, can you please stop smoking? La, Puff asked him. And then Mace says, Puff, why try? I'm a thug. I'm a die high. I be out in Jersey, Puff and Hershey. Brothers ain't worthy to rock my derby. No, I'm never drug free when I'm in the club. Why y'all shocked about the trafficking again? Oh, yeah, I don't know. Drug trafficking was pretty much all throughout the lyrics, song to song. He said, no, I'm never drug free when I'm in the club. Gee, though I know the thugs be wanting to slug me. So people, he is suicidal and he does need to be on watch inside of a prison that may have these very people that he said wanted to slug him, right? So I'll give us just a second and then, sorry about that, you guys. So then he said, though I know the thugs be wanting to slug me. So he said, could it be I move as smooth as Bugsy or be it at the bar with too much bubbly? Yo, I think it must be the girls want to lust me, or is it simply the girls just love me? Brothers want to rock my royals, rock my clothes, rock my ice, pull out Glocks, stop my life. He does have constant mention of people trying to hurt him, right? This is, months after, yeah. Okay, so we're in January. Just in September, Pac has been killed. Then he says this in verse 3. This is Puff. And it's when I'm like, been right there in our face the whole time. He said, quit that. You a big cat. Where your chicks at? Where your whips at? Wherever you get stacks, I'ma fix that. Everything that's big dreams, I did that. Don't knock me cause you're boring. I'm record sales soaring, straight touring. Simply a lot of men be wanting to hear me cause their words just don't offend me. He's fearless, right? He says, we spend cheese in the West Indies, then come home to plenty cream Bentleys. I don't know what they spent money on in the West Indies, but when they came home, they had money for cream Bentleys, right? He said, you name it, I could claim it. And this is when I'm like, he said this, right? I'm going to read this to you right in our face, y'all. He said, you name it, I could claim it. Young, black, and famous with money hanging out the anus. And then go back to the video when he turns around with like, showing you the back of him. So he said, you name it, I can claim it. Young, black, and famous with money hanging out the anus. You put a name out there and I will tell you those names, whether they are young, black, or they are famous, they got my money hanging out their anus. Or something like that, he said. Right? Because he said, you name it, I can claim it. Young, black, and famous with money hanging out the anus. And when you need a hit, who you gonna go and get? Who, he says. So young, black, and famous, you out there, I got the names, and I know my money hanging out your anus because when you want me to come and hit it, you come get me, he said, because when you need a hit, who you gonna go and get? He goes on to say, bet against us then. We make hits that'll rearrange your whole set. And this is in January 1997. And then, here we go. March 1997, Biggie dies. So then he goes on to say, I got a Benz that I ain't even drove yet. Don't push us because we're close to the edge. We're trying not to lose our heads. Get the feeling sometimes. It makes me wonder why you want to take us under. Why you want to take us under. I get the feeling sometimes. It makes me wonder, why do you want to take us under? He is talking to those young, black, and famous that they have his money hanging out their anus. Because when they need a hit from Diddy, they going to come and get him, he said that earlier. Verse 3. Lyrics breakdown. Sometimes the lyrics are right there. Sometimes all these situations, I always say, nation is a joke. Sometimes people be playing right in our face, like the entire time. Almost the history of hip hop playing in our face. 30 years of it for sure. Playing in our face since the 90s. Playing in our face. But how much of this beef is going on? Why is it that, this is, Aaliyah, then a couple of years later, then Tupac, then Diddy all of a sudden starts rising to the top. And then even the year after Aaliyah's Diddy's artists are starting to rise to the top. And then Tupac happens, and then Diddy, and then here comes, Biggie. And now he's locked up with the feds have taken him in, and he's on suicidal watch. We can't get out on bond. And he's also saying, I fear for my life. You let me out those doors. There are people that out there maybe involved with those young, black, and famous with Diddy's money hanging out their anus. I don't know. Food for thought. These are just the opinions of. Thank you for tuning in to This is for Entertainment Only Lyrics Breakdown. I'm your host, D Shields. Make sure you catch me on my other podcast, What D Says, the podcast. You can also catch me on the Big Back podcast as we talk about the healthy journey to taking the fat off. Thank you so much for tuning in to, I could tell y'all give me great numbers, another episode that you love of Lyrics Breakdown.